I'm gonna create a new project, Qt widgets application. Put it in that folder. Let's call this webcam selector. Then as I create it, I get this prompt. I'm going to use 6.5, include it as a member. I'm not going to really use the form. So it opens up and here it is. I have my main, which is just loading up this webcam selector on here. Then I'm going to open up my header file and put it over here separate. So the first thing I'll do is get cameras. I'll make that private method. Get cameras, webcam selector, get cameras. And it's a void. So all we need to do is to say, I'm going to create a public member of a queue list, which is a queue camera device, and call it cameras. Then we need to include that. Then we can say cameras equals Q media devices video inputs, then a for loop to get them all. So for every, I'll call it camera, in cameras, that's how I loop through the queue list. Then I could just queue debug it for now. Camera dot description. So we can do that. We need to include queue devices, queue media devices. Okay. So when I run this, I should just get a list of the cameras. But first, I need to run it. Get cameras. Run it. And you can see down here, these are all the cameras I have connected. Okay, so that worked. Now I can put them, I have them in a list so I can display them. And I'll do that with a combo box, QComboBox. And I'm going to refer to it. So I want the box to be a combo box. I think we should only have one, so this should be good enough. Include that. So let me just get my UI together. I want a Q VBox layout. I'm going to get a vertical layout. New QV box layout. Put it in the central wizard, the central widget. Then I'm going to say a combo box is a new Q combo box. That's all we have to do. I can add it to the vertical layout. Like so. I could include my vertical layout. And I need an arrow. Do it that way. But while we're here, we might as well put our video widget on here. So for the video widget, what I'm going to do is this class exists already. So I'll go to my header file, QVideo widget pointer. to a video widget. I need to include it. Q video widget, okay. And then instantiate that as well. So around here, I'll say video widget equals new Q video widget, like so. We can't find Q video widget because we need to include it. So I go here to my property sheets. So my property manager, I have this QT sheet, and I don't know if it actually includes this with Visual Studio, but you can also just go to properties in the solutions here and do this. So I'll just do that. In project settings, add multimedia, like so. And now I can include this widget. We added this combo box. Then we can add to vertical layout the add widget. We want to add video widget. But let's do it the other way around. I want the video widget first and then the combo box. But let's go back up here to our vertical layout and change the layout a bit. We're going to set the stretch of this first, the index, the first one, to a 1. So it's going to take up most of the size. You'll see what I mean. In vertical layout, when we set the stretch, I want it, this is going to be for the combo box because it's the second one we added. I want that one to be 0. So it's basically only going to be only the size. So it's not going to expand because it's going to be whatever size it takes up. That's what 0 does. Then I can save that and we can have, let's just add before we see what it looks like now. Let's add to the combo box. When I get my cameras, I probably shouldn't do it like this, but this is how we're going to do it today. All you have to do is add an item. My first item is going to be none. That means none, because this is just basically going to be my selector. So I'll know if I select none, then choose no camera. This combo box will be to choose which camera. Okay, so then in our for loop, here's where we can add it. Combo box. Add an item. We want to add camera description. And camera description, as we've seen, was basically just the name. And we'll remove that. Because if this works, then we can see the actual names in the UI. So we have a video widget and a combo box now. And now, there we have it. This is the widget, the video widget, the black. This says none and is listed my cameras. Okay. Now we need something to happen when we select this. Basically, we can connect the combo box. So we have our combo box here and it's a pointer already. So we get reference to combo box. There's a signal for index changed. So when we select something different in the combo box, this basically signal is called, and this is spelled wrong, combo box. Okay. And this should be for a QCombo box. Web cam selector. Select cam. And since we have that, let's put it as a slot. So this is going to get called what happens is when gets selected, you probably know about this and you only came for the about the video widget and showing the webcam, but it's going to call this and it's going to basically signal to this slot. So it's from the combo box to this class here and this method. It's going to pass the index. We can put it in there, but we're not going to use it. I'm not going to use that. So we can just leave it there. This is where we're just going to handle the selection. We're going to do it all together. Oh, it wants an int index. When we get it, first thing we could do is we could get, just to check, we can say if we could loop through our cameras again for constant Q camera device camera SKU list. We do that, and then if the camera dot description that we're looping through is the same as the combo box, the current text of the combo box, then we break out of the loop, but not before we print that our selected cam, we could just use the camera description. So this works because up here we just put the camera description into the combo box. So that should be the same as when we're looping through the cameras. The easy way to find it, the text is going to be of the combo box that we selected is going to be the same. That's why I say we don't need the index. But one thing that could change is if we've already populated our combo box and we try to select it, the camera won't be available. So we probably would never find it in this loop. So that's basically what we have. And let's see. Okay. Select this camera and we see down here that that's the selected cam. Let's try something else. See it down here. Okay. Okay, it's working perfect. What about none? None, nothing happens. We can add that logic there, but I just won't right now. So really what we need to know is what is the current camera. So to find that, we're going to create a camera, a Q camera. We're going to call it current cam. Let's do that. And of course, include it. Of course, instantiate it here as a member. So we'll do it right after we set up the UI. We'll say current cam equals new Q camera. Once it gets selected, first thing I want to do, anytime we select a camera, we want to take the current cam. Let's see, current cam dot is active. That's if it's active. Then what we want to do is to stop it. Stop the camera that's currently running. We're going to reassign it another camera. But for now, once we loop through, we can set the current cam, because the current camera isn't the device. The current cam dot set camera device to camera, because this is a Q camera device, not a Q camera. but the camera holds the actual device. We can get all the formats that the camera has, but it's a long list, and create another combo box. That's a long list though. So pretty much that's all we have to do. And then we can do, if you're following along, let's print this. We can say current cam.start, and that's going to actually start the camera. So on your side, you will be able to see the camera start. So we're going to run that, and I'm going to check to see if the camera starts. So if you know about the Logitech Pro C920, you know there's a blue light. So when I select that, I can see the blue light comes on. How do we display the camera into this Q video widget? Because it's clear that we want to show our video here once we select the camera. Oh, and when you select another one, the blue light is going to go off. So I'm just going to close this. There is this class, a media capture session. You could do all sorts of things. I'll do another video on audio because we're going to capture some audio and all that. And eventually I like to get around showing from all these different types of clients where you can get video and sending it to a server and then processing the video on the server side, and possibly basically getting video from a server on the client side. So subscribe and let me know if that's what you want to see. And I've done some programs where I actually use a Flask Python server that captures all the video on the network. It's like a chat app where you could specifically select which videos you would like to see from people who are actually sharing their cameras on the network. But go down in the comments and let me know if you like to see that type of content. Beyond that, Q Media Capture Session. Let's call it Media Capture Session. So Q Media Capture Session. Instantiated up here. Let's do it before my camera. So it's Media Capture Session equals new Q Media Capture Session. So the way that we show the camera is, I guess it's kind of easy. All we need to do once we know what the current camera is, so we set the current camera to this device that we know it is here. Then we take the media capture session and then we set its camera to the current cam, which is a Q camera. And then we take media capture session, we set the video output to video widget. So then when we run this and we select the camera, you can see here it is showing this is the camera. And then if I select another camera, there's no other camera, but let me hook up another camera. I hooked up a second webcam, and when I select this camera, that's the one on the right, the C920. Let's make this bigger. And then if I select this full HD webcam, it's a different angle, so you know it's a different camera. And that's what's happening when I select the camera. But what's happening is that it actually stops the camera, and then we start it here, and then we break out of this loop. And to do some actual processing from this camera, you can get the video sync now that we have this media capture session. And I guess we could do this in some other video, but you take the video capture session and then you have the video sync. And with the video sync, you can get the individual frames and all sorts of stuff. So for and process each individual frame, and you in essence, you have every frame that's going into the media capture session is a frame from the webcam. Let's get this video sync. So Q video sync, and it's only going to be one. This is how we're going to get these frames. Let's see. I'm going to try to do this faster. Q video sync. No, let's just call it sync. So much better. Sync equals that. Bam. Now we got our sync. And then we can connect our sync in such a way, because every time we got a new sync, bam, we do a new connection. And I guess maybe we can disconnect it too up here. Disconnect sync Q video sync video frame changed. That's how we know, bam, a new frame that came. Then we're going to say web on frame change. On frame changed. So here is our slide. On frame changed. Constant Q video frame. We're just going to get the frame. Webcam selector on frame changed. It's a constant Q video frame. And then with the frame, we get all sorts of stuff. Like we're going to say the current cam. So we can know the camera device. So we're getting the device, and then the description, which is basically the name. It's probably an easier way to do this, but let's just string all these together. Then we're going to just say what the frame dot size. So every time we get a frame, we're going to get the frame size. We get the frame, and then we got to do other processing to the actual frame itself to actually get the, I guess, the raw the bytes for us to processing it. But we're going to do that somewhere else. I'm just showing you how to get the frame for further processing. So we have this sync, which is going to basically give us access to these frames. And if I done everything right, this should run. I'm still, let's see. Still worried about this disconnect here. It should only error once I select the cam. Bam. And here we're getting it every frame from this camera. That's the size 1920 by 1080. But let's just select a different one. This full HD cam. Let's see. Okay, now we're getting frames from this one. We can print some things about the camera, like the pixel format. Start time. Okay, let's see what we got.